The citation is issued at 7:14 a.m. on a Thursday in November, and Rosa Vega writes it the way she writes all of them. Plate number, vehicle description, violation code, time, location, signature, with the particular efficiency of someone who has written 11,000 citations in 4 years and whose handwriting has become, over that time, a thing of involuntary precision. The truck is a white Kenworth T680, commercial plates, no company markings. Rosa circles the truck twice before she writes the ticket. The cab is empty, but the engine is warm, which means whoever drove it here left recently and on foot. The truck bed is covered with a tarp secured improperly. 2 tie-down straps are loose, and beneath the gap is a collection of 55-gallon drums in a color she associates with industrial chemical transport. The plates are registered to Meridian Logistics LLC, which she has seen before. 3 times in the past 6 weeks on 3 different trucks, all in the industrial corridor, all with the same loose tarp and the same drums, all citations returned unpaid. She finishes writing ticket 00441. She places it under the windshield wiper. She photographs the truck with her city-issued tablet, front and rear, including the plates and the gap in the tarp and the drums beneath. She does this because she photographs every vehicle she cites. This is standard procedure. She also photographs the drums specifically close up because she has been doing this for 3 weeks since the second Meridian Logistics truck, because something about the pattern bothered her and she decided that the correct response to being bothered was documentation. The drums are orange and gray banded. She looked this up, the OSHA designation for hazardous materials Class 8 corrosives. She walks back to her scooter. She enters the citation in the city's traffic enforcement database. She marks the plate for follow-up. She has 17 more citations to write before noon. She writes them. 4 years of working the industrial corridor teaches a person a specific kind of knowledge that has no name in any official job description. Rosa Vega is 38 years old, the daughter of a mechanic from Guadalajara and a woman who cleaned offices for 22 years and who told Rosa that the most important thing you can do in any building is pay attention to what gets left out for collection. You learn more from what people throw away than from anything they mean to show you. Rosa has a community college certificate in environmental science completed over 3 years while working full-time, taking night classes 2 evenings a week. She thinks about environmental chemistry the way she thinks about traffic patterns, as a system with logic, with cause and effect, with signatures that repeat if you look for them. She has been looking at the industrial corridor for 4 years. She knows, because she has been tracking it informally for 8 months, that the trucks she cannot account for, the ones with no apparent origin or destination, no company markings, no drivers visible, concentrate around 3 specific locations, all within a half-mile of the old Calumet processing plant, which closed in 2019. The Calumet processing plant, which processed industrial solvents for 40 years, was acquired by Verachem Industries in 2017. Verachem announced it would be remediated and redeveloped. It has been neither remediated nor redeveloped. The site sits behind a chain-link fence with signs reading "Site under environmental review. Authorized personnel only." She has driven past it every working day for 4 years. She has never seen authorized personnel. She has seen, on 14 occasions she has documented, white trucks with loose tarps entering through a gate on the south perimeter that is supposed to be locked. The gate is not locked. After the 3rd Meridian Logistics citation, Rosa started a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet has 7 columns: date, citation number, plate number, registered company, vehicle description, location, and notes. The notes column is where the spreadsheet becomes something other than a traffic enforcement log. It contains drum count visible under each tarp, color coding on the drums, direction of travel, GPS coordinates. By week 6, The spreadsheet has 31 rows representing 9 distinct plate numbers, all registered to LLCs incorporated within the past 3 years, all with the same registered agent. A man named Thomas Birch at an address in the financial district that turns out to be a shared services office used by dozens of corporate entities. Thomas Birch appears as the registered agent for 22 LLCs. None have websites. None have employees listed in any public database. All have unpaid parking citations. She searches Verichem Industries. Their annual report lists environmental compliance status as in full regulatory compliance. She looks up Atlas Environmental Services, whose principal is a man named David Crane. David Crane's LinkedIn profile shows a previous employer, Verichem Industries, 2014 to 2019. She sits with this for a long moment. Then she opens the EPA's Environmental Violation Reporting portal and begins to understand that what she has found is either very significant or a set of coincidences assembled into a false pattern. She considers this possibility seriously for approximately 40 minutes. Then she looks at the spreadsheet again, 31 rows, 9 plates, 22 LLCs, 1 shared registered agent, 1 closed plant, 1 self-certified compliance audit. And she decides that what she has is not a false pattern. What she has is the beginning of a case. What she needs is someone who can tell her whether the beginning she has is enough. She finds Darnell Okafor through a community environmental justice organization that has a table at the farmers market on Saturdays. On the 4th Saturday after starting the spreadsheet, she stops. The person at the table is 26 years old, wearing a university hoodie, with the specific quality of energy that belongs to people who have decided that their work is urgent. His name badge reads Darnell Okafor, Environmental Justice Coalition. She tells him she has found a pattern. A chemical company using ghost fleet vehicles to dump industrial waste at a decommissioned processing plant. He asks what kind. She says she has a spreadsheet. He says he would like to see it. She takes out her phone and shows it to him. He reads it for 4 minutes without saying anything. Then, "You're a parking enforcement officer?" "Traffic enforcement," she says. "Yes." "And you built this from Citation data?" "Yes." "Do you know what's in the drums?" "Not specifically. The OSHA markings are Class 8 corrosives." Dr. Patricia Flood is 59 years old and has spent 30 years as an environmental toxicologist, 11 at the EPA, then expert witness work, then the nonprofit environmental forensics organization she founded 12 years ago, involved in 14 successful enforcement actions. She reads the spreadsheet on her laptop while Rosa drinks coffee and waits. Patricia reads the way someone reads when they are checking data against knowledge they already have. Her expression does not change. She makes 3 notes on a legal pad. She looks up. "Do you know the Calumet site's groundwater monitoring history?" "No, I do." She turns the laptop. The last monitoring report, filed 2 months before Verichem acquired the site, showed trichloroethylene contamination at 14 times the remediation standard in the southeast quadrant. Verichem's compliance certification does not mention trichloroethylene. The contamination didn't go away. The report about the contamination went away, Patricia says, which is a different thing. Your location data, the GPS coordinates where the trucks were parked, the 3 access points correspond to historically documented discharge points from the plant's 1970s-era operation. The 3rd is directly above the southeast quadrant where the trichloroethylene was found in 2019. What they're doing, Patricia says, is not remediating the contamination. They're adding to it. They're using the existing contamination as cover. If you dump chlorinated solvents in a site already documented as having chlorinated solvent contamination, the new contamination becomes very difficult to distinguish from the old, unless you have a before and after. Unless you have a before and after, Patricia confirms. I have the 2019 monitoring data. If we can get current samples from the site, the gate on the south perimeter, Rosa says, is not locked. I've driven past it every day for 4 years. I know which days the site has activity and which it doesn't. The site is inactive on Mondays and Fridays. Monday, Patricia says. Monday, Rosa says. They go on a Monday in December at 6:30 a.m. Dr. Patricia Flood's colleague Yuki Tanaka, 34, a field environmental chemist, arrives in a plain sedan with equipment cases in the trunk and the specific calm of someone who has done this in more difficult conditions than an unlocked gate on a quiet Monday morning. Darnell is there because he insisted. The gate on the south perimeter opens without resistance. Inside, chain link fencing, bare ground, the long low processing plant structure in the morning gray, and in the southeast quadrant, a depression in the ground surrounding a monitoring well that has been recently uncapped. The monitoring well has been recently uncapped. Yuki sets up her equipment. She takes soil samples from 6 locations around the well. She takes a water sample from the well itself. She labels everything. She photographs everything. The whole process takes 38 minutes. None of them speak more than they need to. In the parking lot of a diner on Route 41, Yuki Tanaka reviews her preliminary field readings. She looks up at Patricia. Trichloroethylene, she says. PCE. Carbon tetrachloride. A pause. And something new, the 2019 report didn't have carbon tetrachloride. This isn't the original contamination. She looks at the readings. The concentration gradients are recent. Within 6 months. They've been actively dumping, Patricia says. Within the last 6 months, Yuki confirms. Rosa is looking at her phone. She has opened the city's traffic enforcement database and is running a query, all unpaid citations for Meridian Logistics LLC and the 21 affiliated LLCs for the past 6 months. The query returns 47 citations. 47 trucks. If each truck carries 12 drums at 55 gallons each, that's 31,000 gallons, Darnell says. The table is quiet. The trucks were invisible, Rosa says. The tickets weren't. The EPA's Criminal Enforcement Division opens a formal investigation 14 days after Patricia Flood's report lands on the desk of Special Agent Marcus Webb, who has been investigating Verachem Industries for 17 months on a parallel track, procurement fraud in their chemical sourcing contracts, and who reads the environmental forensics report and the traffic citation database extract and the field sampling results and says, in a call with Patricia, that he feels the specific quality of satisfaction that comes when 2 separate investigations suddenly explain each other. Rosa receives a subpoena for her citation records 22 days after the Monday at the southeast quadrant. She complies immediately and completely. Her union representative attends the deposition with her and is largely unnecessary because Rosa has been deposing herself in her spreadsheet for months, and the actual deposition is less thorough than what she has already documented. The story becomes public 6 weeks after the investigation opens. A careful, source piece by an environmental reporter who has been developing the Verachem angle for 2 years and who receives Patricia's documentation package with the particular alertness of someone who has been waiting for exactly this to arrive. The headline, Parking Tickets Led to a $400 million Toxic Waste Cover-Up. How one traffic enforcement officer built the case that broke Verachem. Rosa reads it at her kitchen table while Lucia eats cereal and asks why there's a picture of Mama's scooter in the newspaper. Because the scooter was part of the work, Rosa says. Did the scooter do something good? Rosa thinks about 47 trucks and 31,000 gallons and a monitoring well uncapped and recapped while the paperwork showed full compliance. Yeah, she says. The scooter did something good. Rosa thinks about 47 trucks and 31,000 gallons and a monitoring well that had been uncapped and recapped and uncapped again, while the paperwork showed full compliance and the stock price stayed at $47.32. Yeah, she says. The scooter did something good. Lucia considers this. Can I name it? The scooter? It should have a name, Lucia says. If it did something good. What would you name it? Lucia thinks for a moment. Mango, she says, because it's orange. Rosa looks out the kitchen window. The morning light is doing something specific to the street. The way it gets in December, low and pale, cutting under the gray and making the frost on the parked cars look briefly precious. Mango, she says. Okay. She finishes her coffee. She picks up her city-issued tablet and her citation book and her keys. She goes to work.